This, we are in week 14, unit 12. This is our last section of grammar, our last section before our unit 12 test. Okay, so pay close attention, review this as many times as you need. So far we have learned the indicative, which is a grammar word meaning the present tense, and the past tense, which is the objective reality. Okay? We've learned the command form, giving orders and instructions. And today we're going to learn about the subjunctive form. This expresses wishes, proposals, suggestions, and imagined situations in the mind of a speaker, emotional reactions, and things that you don't know are true. So let's look at the indicative form. The indicative is present or past tense, things that are facts or objective reality. Nick goes to the party. Sounds like a fact, it's in the present tense. I could have said Nick went to the party. These are verifiable objective facts. The command form, Nick, comma, go to the party. The subjunctive is going to look a little different. I wish Nick would go to the party. So, did Nick go to the party? Are we commanding him to go? Somewhere in between, isn't it? So in our past tense, okay, I went to the store yesterday, or I used to go to the store, preterite imperfect. Our present tense, I go to the store, I'm going to the store right now. In our future, I will go to the store. There's something in between. It is necessary that I go to the store. Has it happened yet? Is it happening now? Am I sure it's ever going to happen? This is where the subjunctive falls into place. Okay, the rules for subjunctive. A subjunctive phrase in Spanish needs to have two clauses. A clause is a group of words that form a part of a sentence that has its own subject and verb. This means that I have one subject in the front of the sentence, and I have another subject in the second half of the sentence. Each of those subjects also have a verb attached to them. The word that will be in between both clauses, and you will be expressing either a wish, an emotion, an impersonal expression, a request, recommendation, doubt, denial, or the word ojalá, which means you wish. An acronym to remember this is weirdo. Let's look at some sentences in English. I hope that we can pay rent this month. It is probable that there is traffic today. I expect that the doorman has the keys. We hope that they don't turn off the electricity. It is urgent that you send that email. I suggest that you fix the printer. It is not likely to turn on. Now notice in 6 and 7, the phraseology in English can be a little different. We don't have to carry the word that in English every time, but in Spanish you have to have the word that, which is que, in between. Let's do each one of these sentences in English. I hope we can pay rent this month. Let's look down. The first trigger for subjunctive is we have two subjects. Do we have two different people in that sentence? Yes, I and we. Let's check if we have two verbs. Hope, I hope, yes. And another set of verbs, we can pay, yep. Third criteria, do I have the word that? Yes, I do. I have the word that, which is que in Spanish. And am I expressing one of these weirdo things? Wish, emotion, and personal expression, request, doubt, denial. Yes, I'm expressing a hope. So this is a subjunctive sentence in English and in Spanish. It's not in the past, it's not in the present, and it's not in the certain future. It is a hope. I expect that the doorman has the keys. Do we have two people? Yes, I and the doorman. Do I have two verbs? Yes, expect and has. Do I have a that? Yes. And is there a sense of a weirdo, a wish, an emotion, impersonal expression, recommendation, doubt, denial? Yes, I expect. I suggest that you fix the computer. Subject, I and you. Verbs, suggest and fix. That and suggest is definitely a weirdo. Okay, let's look at these weirdos. We need to find out what are these trigger words that fall under wish, emotion, and personal expression, request, recommendation, doubt, denial, and ojalá. Ojalá means hopefully. As soon as you see the word ojalá, it is always a trigger subjunctive. Okay, the ones that are starred are the ones that are used in this chapter. Any that are not starred will be used in chapter 13 when you get to Spanish 23:12. So it's good to have those handy. These are verbs that would be under the category wish, to wish something. Esperar, querer, pedir, desear, insistir, necesitar, exigir. These are the ones that would be under emotion. Two new ones for this chapter is alegrarse, to rejoice or to be happy. Notice it's reflexive. Temer, to fear. These others, some of them you already know, will be used in Unit 13. Impersonal expression. You've probably never heard of an impersonal expression. If you look at it, there's no subject. The subject will become it. Es bueno que. It is good that you do your homework. It in English is a pronoun, right? In Spanish, es is third person singular. It is good, but it's not a person, is it? So this is called an impersonal expression. There's not a person. Es mejor que. Es malo que. Es importante que. They all have es. Now here's one that says no es. No es probable que. It is not likely that. If I were to say es probable, it is likely, I would not be using subjunctive. Okay? Es urgente que. Here's some from Unit 4, Unit 13. Es necesario que. Es dudoso que. Now you'll see dudoso in another group. These words can be used in different groups. Recommendations or requests. Pedir, preferir, querer, recomendar, insistir, mandar, sugerir. Notice that we've got a lot of stem changers in here. Doubt, denial, negation. Dudar, no creer, to not believe. If I were to use creer, well, I would not be using subjunctive. Okay? Prohibir, permitir, no pensar. Okay, so is the subjunctive used in one or two clause sentences? See if you can answer this on your own. Is it used in the main, independent, or the subordinate clause? Is it used before or after the word que? When the subjunctive is used, is the subject the same in both clauses, or are they different people? What verb forms follow an impersonal expression when there is no change of subject? We'll answer all these. See if you can do it yourself first. Influence is one cause of the subjunctive. What are two more subjunctive triggers? Okay, so first we're going to have your first subject will be in the indicative, whether that's present tense or past tense. We're going to stick with present right now. We will have a que, and then we'll have a second subject that will be in the subjunctive. First one is normal, second one is a subjunctive change. Okay? So this is the subordinate clause. Main clause, first one. Subordinate clause, second one. No subjunctive in the first person verb, subjunctive in the second person verb. Okay, so in the middle there are just some examples of some verbs that would be for influence, emotion, doubt, negation. let's go down here. So the endings of the subjunctive are going to be a lot like the commands, okay, that you just learned. They're going to be the opposite vowel. You're always going to go to the yo form and make your conjugation there, okay? Because you want to pick up anything that's odd or strange in spelling, okay? And then you switch to the opposite vowel. These are the endings. There's not going to be an O anymore in the yo, okay? AR verbs will go AR verbs will go es, hemos, en. IR verbs will go a, as, amos, an. Okay, so these are our regular conjugations. We have o, as, amos, an, o, es, hemos, en, o, es, hemos, en, right? Subjunctive will be es, hemos, en for AR verbs, ER verbs, a, as, amos, an. Notice the first person and third person are identical. What? Are. Okay, so these are some regular verbs that we have. Okay, bajar, guardar, imprimir, they're new verbs from your unit. Manejar, mandar, almacenar. So I'm setting this up in subjunctive. Subject 1, subject 2. There's the que in the middle. First subject, it's the verb regular. Yo quiero. I want that you. So it's like you're hoping that you will do something. Okay? It's going to be, the subject is going to be tú. So normally it would be bajas, right? It's an AR verb, but now we need to switch to the opposite vowel. Not bajas, but bajes. Guardar is not guardas, but guardes. Imprimir, that's it right here, is an IR verb. It's not imprimes, es. It's going to be imprimas. Manejar, not manejas. It's going to be, change the vowel, manejes. Mandar, almacenar, almacenes. What happens if I have a cars are verb? Well, the same thing you've always done. Okay, we need to be careful with the sound. We need to retain that hard G, which means we'll have to put a U. We'll have to retain the hard C, which means we'll have to, anyway, we'll move on. So, yo quiero que ella. Now I'm changing the subject to ella. This is a subjunctive sentence that's already set up. Ella is going to be third person singular. Descargar would be descarga, right? But I'm changing to the opposite vowel, which means I would change that A to an E, and that would make this be a soft G, descargue. So I need to put the U to make it descargue. Buscar. Go to third person right here. Busque. If I had kept the C, it would have said buse. I want the hard C. Apagar. Apague. Navegar. Navegue. Publicar. Publique. Empezar. Empiece. We know that the Z and the C are going to make the same sound for us, but it doesn't for everybody, so the ZAR verbs will change to a C. What happens with yogos? Same thing. We're going to go to the yo form, we're going to pick up the spelling idiosyncrasies, and then we're going to change to the opposite vowel. Yo quiero que ellos, okay? Ellos, now I'm in third person plural down here, okay? Hacer is an ER verb, so the ending is going to be an, but I got to pick up the go. So, hagan, poner, pongan, traer, traigan, salir, salgan, venir, vengan, tener, tengan, oír, oigan. Okay, what do we do if we have stem changers? Well, we're going to make the stem change. Like always, we make the stem change in all of the forms except nosotros. We'll be getting to nosotros in just a little bit. These are going to be ER or AR stem changing verbs. No IRs in this group, because there's going to be a little trick with IRs. So, if the subject is usted, that's third person, okay, and you're going to end A, depending on the verb ending, and I need to make the stem change. So my E changes to IE and switch to the opposite vowel. Yo quiero que usted entienda. Yo quiero que usted cierre. Yo quiero que usted piense. Yo quiero que usted se despierte. Yo quiero que usted, see, this just goes crazy sometimes, muestre. Yo quiero que usted pierda. If I have an IR verb, stem changer, okay, IRs tend to break a lot of rules. If I have an IR verb stem changer, we're going to make the regular stem change like always. But if the second person in that clause happens to be in the nosotros form, you are finally going to make a stem change. You've never made a stem change in nosotros before. If it is an IR verb that stem changes, you will make a stem change in nosotros. You will go from E to I or O to U. So lots of stuff to think about here. I know this is an IR verb, right? So I'm going to be looking down at this right here. I know that all of these are going to be in nosotros because I purposefully chose it so we could do that stem change in nosotros. So they're all going to end in vamos, right? But now this E is going to change to an I. This O is going to change to a U. This E is going to change to an I, so on. Pedir becomes, yo quiero que nosotros pidamos. We have never made a stem change in nosotros. If we are in the subjunctive, it is an IR stem changing verb, and the second subject is nosotros. You are going to make an additional stem change from E to I. Yo quiero que nosotros durmamos. Yo quiero que nosotros prefiramos. Yo quiero que nosotros sugiramos. Yo quiero que nosotros nos despidamos. Yo quiero que nosotros nos vistamos. Take a screenshot of this. These are additional verbs that are IR, stem changing verbs that will change from O to U or E to I in the nosotros form subjunctive. Okay, conocer, we know, has a funny spelling in the yo form, right? Yo conozco. Conocer is an ER verb, so in the subjunctive it would be conozca. But remember, you've got to take the Z and the C with you all the way down when you make these changes. Yo quiero que tú conozcas, usted conozca, él, ella conozca, conozcamos, conozcan, conozcan. And here are your super irregulars. Super irregulars just must be memorized, okay? Remember, first and third person are identical. You can pause the video, try and work this out, and then come back for responses. Número 1. Yo quiero que tú cocines. Usted teme que nosotros hablemos. Yo prefiero que ustedes vivan. Yo espero blank leer ese libro. What? What happened here? This one isn't subjunctive, is it? If I can't fulfill the rules of subjunctive, means the influence, the que, the change of subject, then I just have two verbs in a row. Two verbs in a row, conjugate the first, leave the second alone. Be very careful, some of these will pop up, okay? Next, back to subjunctive. Los niños insisten que sus padres les ayuden. Se recomienda que nosotros comamos. Los profesores quieren que los estudiantes usen. Es necesario que el médico prohíba. Okay, this looks like a lot of work, but what I did was break everything down into tiny little bits and pieces. So I found some grammar notes. This is worth 0 points. It does have some questions that go after it. These are great grammar notes, so you can look at those. Then you can do your grammar tutorial. Then you're going to do, these ALAs are super tiny. What are some triggers? Okay, then we're going to do the regular subjunctive, our stem changing subjunctive, our AR-ER stem changing, our IR stem changing, our CAR-GAR-ZARs, and then the irregulars at the end. So one step at a time. All right, good luck. Adios.